Hey there guys, and welcome back to the Travis and Damian Podcast. We are available on anchor.fm/Travis Damian Podcast, along with iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and many more. Today, we're going to first dive into some general news, like the rumored Sonic movie redesign to The Last of Us Part 2 being delayed. And then we're going to talk about our recent activities. And then last, we're going to talk about Riot's 10th anniversary celebration, where they announced a bunch of games, not just League of Legends stuff. They actually have a bunch of other stuff in the works now. So first up, like I said earlier, the Sonic movie redesign. This is a rumored sort of concept that leaked out. I'm not sure if this is official or whatever. This could honestly be anything. But from what it looks like, it looks definitely a lot better than it did before. I hope that this redesign is true and confirmed. But we're just going to have to wait and see until, they officially want to reveal it.
Yeah, I also agree that it just looks 10 times better than the original one. They're probably still keeping the same animation, rig and all that technical stuff, but they probably just changed the model a little bit just to make it not a monstrosity like the first one was. And I think then it does look like a modified version of that base model, and I think they did a good job making it look like Sonic, with his eyes look like Sonic's eyes. He has shoes and gloves. He doesn't. Yeah, he looks natural. He doesn't look too out there.
Yeah, he definitely looks a lot better. His arms being blue, that's kind of whatever.
Yeah, it's just whatever. Who cares?
At this point, it's just their version of all right, this is how we think Sonic in our version is, and it's all right, it's wrong, but okay. But yeah, now he has gloves, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, it definitely, like you said, looks a lot better. And I hope that this is true, but we'll just have to wait and see, because this is still rumored.
It's not going to frighten children anymore like the original one did. All right, so we got more Blizzard stuff here. So there was supposed to be an Overwatch event at the Nintendo store in New York, but Blizzard canceled that because they didn't really give a reason. Nintendo or Blizzard didn't give any reasons for it. But I'm pretty sure, it's safe to assume that they wanted to avoid any big protests going on outside the Nintendo store, because this was I think a week, not even a week, a few days after the whole Hong Kong thing. So yeah, it's pretty safe to assume that was because of that reason. They won't say it because Blizzard doesn't really feel like saying anything about this topic right now. But again, it just kind of when BlizzCon actually does happen really soon, they can't hide that, because it's their own event. So you can't just cancel BlizzCon, and it's probably going to be way worse there than some, launch event. So yeah, this is just the way they handled this whole event. We already talked about this the last time, but the way they're handling this whole situation it's just horrible, because it just seems like they just want to censor everything about this thing and hope it goes away, and that never works. The more times companies try to do this, the worse the bite is gonna be when everyone says, hey, don't do that, you know what I mean? So
yeah, the more you try to hide it, the more people actually find out. So
yeah,
this could have been Blizzard or Nintendo or both being yeah, we probably shouldn't let this event happen after what you fucking did, Blizzard. Obviously, they don't know what the hell they're doing, Blizzard. And the fact that they did it so close to the release of Overwatch for the Switch, I would imagine this definitely impacted sales. I'm not sure how well it sold. I would imagine it sold okay, but not as much as they were probably expecting. If anything, it probably underperformed. But yeah, them canceling this event is probably good on all fronts. So there isn't a big-ass protest in front of the Nintendo New York store. Causing problems there, literally in the streets and whatnot. So, but yeah, it is what it is. Blizzard just digging themselves a bigger hole at this point. And when BlizzCon does finally roll around, you're probably going to see a lot of news stories about people protesting outside of the event, the convention center and all this other stuff. So, yeah, at this point, it's just them, creating a bigger hole for themselves, like I said earlier.
Yeah, it's not looking good. And once BlizzCon happens, it's gonna be something to keep an eye on, because it's gonna be pretty entertaining, I'm hoping. And not for the game announcements.
Alright, so I don't know what the hell Bethesda's doing. I never know what they're doing.
Yeah,
but they rolled out a subscription model for Fallout 76. It is $10 a month for 1 month, or you could do $100 a year, and you can host a private server and then invite 7 other friends or players that are not subscribers. So that is kind of cool, but why do we have to pay for it? I think they said it's because it's private servers. They have to like maintenance and like stuff like that. Like, it just seems like a lot of bullshit, and I'm still greeding for money. And on top of that, I think a new game came out, Outer World or something like that.
Yeah,
and that's
Outer Worlds,
like from people
Obsidian,
that
yeah.
created the other Fallout games, right?
Yes, they made the Fallout New Vegas, which was like way better than 3 and like way better than 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very excited to play that when I can. But yeah, basically Bethesda is garbage and like Fallout 76 is trash. Apparently also with the subscription you get like some like storage unit where you can put in like all your items and stuff. And apparently that's a bug too, where if you put all your items in this like storage, it just deletes itself. So yeah, that's good. Yeah, but like just Fallout 76 in general is like, it just seems like they want to milk their player base or whatever player base they had for this game dry, just so they could like move on, and it's like really scummy. Because like, you know, I checked the Fallout 76 subreddit just to see like do people even play this game, and are people even happy about this? And obviously no one's happy about it, but I'm surprised the amount of fans this game actually has. For like Bethesda just does not care about them. I really don't know why it has so many fans, like just because it's Fallout. Like I don't know. I just hope that this backfires. Like, I know that apparently didn't work with Fallout 76 because they're still supporting it and they're making money off it. But you know, if this thing does go through, it's kind of just like a bad precedent for both Bethesda and just like games in general. Like, if you just do like this useless subscription that doesn't really do anything, and other games start doing it, and that's just bad business, you know. So yeah, so basically Fallout 76 is absolute garbage, and we can't go like a few months without hearing like new garbage about it. It's just very disappointing, man. Like I wasn't really expecting much from that game. Like, Fallout 4 disappointed me a lot since I really liked New Vegas. But that was, again, it wasn't even made by Bethesda. But you know, I was hoping Fallout 4 would be something really special, and it was kind of just like whatever. And then 76 just further like, man, Bethesda, what are you doing? Yeah.
I don't play their games, but just what they're doing as like a company and a studio is kind of just like very questioning.
Yeah,
I can say so. I'm not sure how well this subscription model is going to do. It rolls out November 1st, I believe. So we'll see then if anyone's actually using it. But yeah, I'm honestly surprised people are still playing Fallout 76. That game's a year old at this point. So yeah, very, very interesting.
All right, so we got a new trailer for the new Star Wars Rise of the Skywalker, and I watched it and I don't feel anything. Like, it's just like, I don't know. I feel like the trailer is just like a whole lot of nothing either. It was just kind of just like, oh, look how, like, oh, the story is ending. Look how epic this is. But I feel like no one really cares. Like, I don't know. Like, I didn't even watch the other one, Last Jedi, because I just heard so many bad things about it. Even though I don't think it's as bad as people are saying. Just because, you know, I know Star Wars is very polarizing, where people are just very aggressive, like, if something is like a little bit bad. But you know, I like the first movie. I forgot what it's called in this new trilogy. But
Force Awakens?
Yeah, Force Awakens, I think. Yeah, I like Force Awakens. But I don't know. It just feels like they're really like hyping this up when it's like, I don't think anyone's really that hyped up about it. And like the trailer itself is just like, yeah, whatever. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just keep bringing back plot points, like the Emperor's back, and it's like he should be dead, and like just a whole bunch of other things. Like, I don't know. Like, Star Wars, they should just let it rest, dude.
I think after this movie, they're gonna take a step back and wonder and like evaluate what they're gonna do with this multi-million-dollar franchise, that they could do whatever they want with it. But you know, like you said, fans are definitely polarizing.
Yeah.
Personally, when I saw The Last Jedi in theaters, I still will never forget going to the theater and actually seeing that movie, because a lot of people were very excited for it, and then me watching that movie was very memorable. I still remember a lot of the key moments in that movie, despite me not seeing it in a very long time. Okay. Just because like I was kind of like amazed and like stunned by like the certain things that happened in that movie. Personally, I liked it. But then again, I'm a very casual Star Wars fan. I'm not one of these Star Wars fans that goes on Twitter and like rants about it, or like I haven't even bought tickets for it. You know, like people that have already bought tickets for this movie are 100% Star Wars fans. And personally, I'm just one of those fans that are just like, I'll just wait and see it whenever I can, because I do like Star Wars, but not like to the point where it's like I'm gonna, get everything in terms of like merchandise or like see the movie on day one, this and that. I'm very casual about it, like I said. But this trailer, it was okay. I mean, I haven't seen the other trailer, so like seeing this one as like the final trailer, pretty much the first and last trailer are the only ones we've seen, right? I think. So seeing this one, I was kind of just like, oh, okay, more Star Wars, so let's see how this trilogy is gonna end, But yeah, I'm just gonna watch it when I can. I'm not gonna take any like reviews into consideration because Star Wars fans are going to be Star Wars fans at the end of the day. They're going to be very excited for it, and then once they see it, they're going to like nitpick it and do what they want with their own opinion. Like that's just how fans can be, and that's just what people view the Star Wars fan base as. And I kind of somewhat agree on it. Obviously, it's not everyone that likes Star Wars is like that, but for the vast majority that you see on the internet, those that complain more are more vocal than the ones that are just like, it's whatever,
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, I agree with that. Like, and Star Wars fans kind of suck, so it's kind of hard to take their opinion like seriously. Like, because I heard so many things about Last Jedi being either bad or it's okay, and I'm probably gonna watch it for myself because I might want to watch this, but I don't know. I just like be like, don't expect too much when going into this movie, and I guess you won't be as hurt if it is bad. So
as long as you're going with low expectations, hopefully they'll either meet them or slightly surpass them.
Exactly.
All right, so the last bit of news we have here is The Last of Us Part 2 got delayed to May. So when this was announced yesterday, or it was like sources say that Last of Us Part 2 is getting delayed, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And then when Neil Druckmann finally came out with the PlayStation blog, I was like, God damn it. Yeah. But at least he gave us another date. It's May 29th, 2020. So before it was February. Yeah. So now 1, 2, 3, a 3-month delay. Pretty much he's saying that they don't want to, put too much stress on the team as is. And they're pretty much just trying to make sure that the game is to standards with Naughty Dog, and I agree with that. But I believe I read an article this morning, or I saw a tweet or something, that was like Ghost of Tsushima also got delayed because of this, because they don't want obviously to have two PlayStation games compete against each other. Yeah. So it just sucks that another game got indirectly delayed because of The Last of Us, because The Last of Us is just such a big game. But you know what? Hopefully Sucker Punch is, as well. They're taking their time with that game, and hopefully that delay will benefit Ghost of Tsushima. But this delay, it always sucks when a game gets delayed, because I was honestly super excited for The Last of Us Part 2, but now I'm kind of like, I'm still excited for it, but I'm like, I now have to wait till almost June to play the game,
Yeah, it's a big delay. It's like right at the end of May too. For a game that was going to come out like really soon, now it's like ways off. But again, if Naughty Dog could like make it better and just give it that polish that they're good at, then I guess it'll be worth it at the end. Like it's like what what's his face Miyamoto says, like a delayed game is good at some point, but if you don't delay it, it's bad forever or something like that. So I it's not like I expected The Last of Us 2 to be like bad or anything, but if they could like polish up some technical issues and things like that, then that'd be good. Mostly now that things like Borderlands 3 and stuff like that. That was a game that looked like it could have used like another few months in development, just because there was so many technical issues. So I'm hoping it's something like that, where it's like they want to make sure it's running really well on like the PS4 and PS4 Pro and whatever, and just iron out a lot of these like issues like that. I mean, that's what I'm thinking is getting delayed for, but I guess we'll never know until it comes out. So, but yeah, I think delays could be a good thing if it's not too long. And I think there's enough games coming out 2020 that I think a lot of people will be preoccupied anyway. So yeah.
Definitely when the Yoshi game came out for the Switch, Crafted World. Yeah. That game didn't have any updates. So like that was like a pretty good first impression for me when I just put the game into the system and then I just started up. I was like, wow, there's like no, day one patch. That's pretty good. So obviously with most, AAA titles, The Last of Us Part 2 is probably going to have some sort of patch on day one. But if that's not the case, that would be pretty cool, because that, like, first impressions are like everything, no matter what you're doing. So hopefully, when The Last of Us Part 2, when we do get closer to that release, when the embargoes for the reviews start to get lifted, hopefully it is very, very positive, because that'll get me even more excited for the game. But it just sucks that it got delayed so far, because before we were like a couple months away, which was like February. Now it's like even longer. So it just sucks, but it is what it is at this point.
Yep.
All right. So recent activities, I'll let you go first, because I got some things here.
Okay. So, the new My Hero season started. So I've been watching that. First episode, just a recap. I don't know why they do this, but they do. Like, anime in general just does this sometimes, and just like whatever. But I actually do like the way My Hero does it. Like, the episode, it was a recap episode, but it had its own little like spin to it, and like had some little bit of story beats and character stuff. But like if you just skip this episode, then you won't really miss much. But I thought it was enjoyable to watch. The second episode was a lot more important, where we like discuss the new, or show the new villain Overhaul, I think his name is.
Yeah.
And like the like stuff went down. I don't want to spoil too much of it, but yeah, basically he looks really cool, and his quirk, I have no idea what it does, but it looks amazing. I'm like, okay, I guess that's what that does. So yeah, Overhaul looks like he's gonna be an interesting villain. I really like the other person Deku's with right now. I forget his name. I don't know his name.
He looks like Lucas, right?
Yeah, he looks like a buff Lucas. Yeah, him. Yeah, he's a really cool character. I like how like happy and stuff he is, and how upbeat he is. Because Deku is kind of like, he could be kind of like a wreck sometimes, where he's just like, oh, I gotta like be the best and whatever, and like that guy's just, oh, don't worry about it. So I thought that was a cool like dynamic thing there. But yeah, My Hero is really good. I gotta wait until more episodes come out, but I love My Hero. Second, been playing more Destiny 2. Not much to say about that, other than it's still really good, and I'm having a great time with it, and it's really time consuming, because it's an MMO. So yeah, but this next game is what I really want to talk about. So since Banjo is in Smash and things like that, there was a new ukulele game that actually came out, ukulele, like the Impossible Layer, that's been doing really well with people. So I decided, I'm like, I have Ukulele 1. I heard so many mixed things about it that I don't really know what to think about it. And I had the game for a while, because I think I got in a Humble Bundle or something like that. So I just decided, you know what, let's play. I feel like playing a 3D platformer, so let's try it. And I have to say, the game is actually really good. I don't know why it got so panned so hard. Like, I feel like the criticisms for this game, like I can't really talk about the technical issues, because I'm playing like a post-patch version of this game. So like the camera has basically been fixed. Like, I never had a problem with the camera. The drop shadow for like, when you jump and you see like the shadow under your character, like that's a lot more prominent now. I think that was an issue when the game first came out. So yeah, I can't really talk about like the technical issues. The game runs like beautifully on the PC. Like, I get 60 frames and it's great. But in terms of the other complaints, it being like the worlds are too big or whatever, I would say the worlds are big. Like, they are a lot bigger than something like Banjo-Kazooie. But they never felt empty to me, which was another complaint I see a lot of people say. Like, they say the worlds feel empty and like they're too big. I never felt that. I never felt like the worlds were too like empty. I felt like every part of the world has at least a collectible in it. Like, it felt like it was pretty like, there was a lot of things to do in like each world. I still haven't finished it, by the way. Like, I'm almost done with it, but yeah. So I never really got that complaint. Honestly, like, the biggest issue with the game is that it's too much like Banjo-Kazooie, which is ironic, because that the whole premise of that game was, hey, this is Banjo-Kazooie, but not. And people were happy about that, and they put money into it and stuff to kickstart it. But I felt like in the end that really hurts it more, because now people just, they're going to compare it to Banjo-Kazooie, and it's not really their fault, because, it's Banjo-Kazooie, but not. And, if I'm going to compare this game to something like, Banjo-Kazooie, then yeah, it's not as good, because Banjo-Kazooie is, it's a fantastic game. And I can't just say, hey, look at this like it's its own thing, because, I can't, because, again, it's like, it's too much like Banjo-Kazooie to really have its own identity, and I think that's what really hurts it in the end. Like, it's a really solid 3D platformer, and I feel like if you want to play something like Banjo-Kazooie, and you've already played Tooie and Kazooie like a lot, and you want something like that, then yeah, I would recommend this game. But if you're looking for like something to beat that, then yeah, it probably won't And I guess that's where its biggest problem is that it's just not as good as the games it's like imitating. And that's where I feel like a lot of these early Kickstarters were trying to be like that. You know, Mighty Number 9, this game. Bloodstain was actually like the only one that sort of like it did this formula and got good reception, where it's like, hey, this game is Castlevania Symphony of the Night, but it's not. Except that game actually did really well, unlike Mighty Number 9 and Yooka-Laylee, where it's like, hey, this is Banjo, or hey, this is Mega Man, but it's just not as good as those, you know, original games were. And I feel like it just hurts it more. Now, I really like that Kickstarter games are starting to like, hey, this game is like inspired by 3D platformers, so something like Hat in Time, right? Like that game is like, hey, this is inspired by, you know, like Mario, like 3D platformers, mostly like Sunshine and things like that. But it has enough of its own identity where like you can't really like compare it to that. Like you can't really like hold it to that same like, I guess, like pedigree like those games had. So it just feels more original and or like, you know, it just feels like its own thing. And I feel like Yooka-Laylee can't really break itself from Banjo because it was built like that, you know? Like the whole reason it was funded was because, you know, this is Banjo-Kazooie, but not. So, yeah, I think that's where the biggest issue for this game lies, is that it's just too much like Banjo-Kazooie. And again, that was the whole reason why it was even made. But yeah, if you could look past that, then yeah, it's a really good time. Like I've been having a good time. Some of the levels, you know, some of the pages you can get are very creative and how you do it. I think the worlds look nice. The game itself looks really nice. Like for an indie, like a 3D indie game, I think it's up there with like, you know, some of the best looking ones. Because, you know, most of the time indie games are like 2D and Pixar and stuff like that. So them like really replicating that visual style of Banjo is very impressive. So yeah, basically I really liked Yooka-Laylee. I think people should give it a shot. I think enough time has passed where you could be like, yeah, this game is good, and it is. I don't think the game deserved all the horrible remarks it got, because it really is a good game. So yeah, that's my whole little rant on Yooka-Laylee. I was just thinking that when I was playing it this whole time. Like, this game really didn't deserve all the hate it got, but all right, whatever.
It is what it is. Honestly,
Yeah.
I wanted to like do a video on it because I bought it during like a Best Buy glitch sale, which pretty much the prices were like all fucked up. So then no, I think it was Amazon. It was Amazon or Best Buy, one of those. And I just like bought it on the PS4 for like really cheap, but like it just came out, so I was like, maybe I should do a video on it. Maybe I shouldn't. I don't know. I just never found time to like do it, but. You know, I always thought that game wasn't as bad as people
it's
thought
not.
it was.
Like, yeah,
so.
like people were really harsh on this game. And like, I don't think it deserves it at all. Like Mighty Number 9, yes, that game deserves every bit of criticism it got. But this game, I feel like if they made a sequel, like a second actual 3D platformer, I feel like it could be really good. But I don't know. I don't know if people are going to give it a chance or not, but we'll see.
Indeed. So I also watched My Hero Academia.
Yeah.
Overhaul, supposedly. From like a tweet I read, someone was like, "Yo, Overhaul is gonna be like really, really good." So
yeah,
like,
I keep hearing that too.
So hopefully this arc is gonna be like fucking bananas.
I heard this arc is like one of the best arcs like in the like, you know, the whole thing. So I'm really hyped for that.
You know, it's only getting started. So
yeah.
But I watched the Joker movie.
Mm-hmm. How was that?
It's really good, honestly. I mean, right now it was just reported that it's the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time now. It surpassed Deadpool 1 and 2, which both of those, I think Deadpool 1 was the highest grossing R-rated movie when that came out. Mm-hmm. So the fact that Joker is now at that same level is really crazy. But yeah, when I went to go see it, obviously, like, you know, movie theater staff are very aware of like what the media was reporting on it, which honestly, like, that entire thing is fucking bullshit. Like, they only said that because like they were like, oh shit, they watched one trailer and they were like, oh my god, and then it was like, no, you guys are so fucking dumb. But yeah, I think there were like movie employees like coming in and out of the theater, like making sure that nothing was going on. But you know, the movie itself is really good. I think watching it multiple times will definitely benefit the experience. Personally, I've only watched it once. Probably going to wait for it to go on Blu-ray before I watch it again, because I don't want to go back to the theater, not anytime soon anyways. Not because of, you know, fear of like getting shot up or anything like that. It's just that I don't want to go back to the theater right now. But anyways, the movie itself is very, very good. That's all I can really say without spoiling it. Obviously, it is a Joker origin movie, quote unquote, which when it was first announced as that, it was kind of like the Joker doesn't really have an origin story. But the way that they did it in this movie was very good. Obviously, there are many different versions of Batman and the Joker and this and that. So this version of the characters is pretty good. The Waynes are in the movie, and they have a very interesting connection to the Joker. And that's all I'll really say. If you can see it in theaters, go for it. But, you know, I'm not saying that people are going to be crazy and do things. They probably won't. Honestly, it's just a thing that the news media has just put out there for whatever fucking reason. But you know what? When it goes on Blu-ray or whatever movie platform, you know, if you want to rent it on something or whatever, it's definitely worth a watch. It's not like a normal superhero movie, I will say that, which is very good. It's an actual like good movie. Which is very rare for like, you know, superhero, because like nowadays, you know, Marvel movies have been such a staple these days where it's like, you know, it has to be like a blockbuster and this and that. Every single Marvel movie has like a sense of like style and like a sort of formula, you know. This movie is just a good movie, you know. It was made like an actual movie. So there's that. I've been watching a lot of Hunter x Hunter. I know that that anime ended a while ago, but I've just recently discovered it, and it's really good. And then I watched the first 2 episodes of Dr. Stone. I really didn't know what I was getting into, but I watched it, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? It's one of those animes that's like, it's crazy, funny, stupid, but it's like so good. I've only watched the first 2 episodes, like I said, but you know, it is pretty good. I think it's still going. There's like 15, 16 episodes out right now. So,
okay. That's a long one.
You know, if you want to catch up, it's not going to be that hard if you do. And then I played some League of Legends and some Fortnite Chapter 2.
Oh, yeah, I did too.
Played some League just because I was like, let me see if my wrists are any better. And then I went like, so I played League and Fortnite that same day, and I really didn't give my wrists a rest. And now my left wrist is kind of fucked up. So hopefully me just like chilling out again and like actually not playing for the rest of the year will hopefully do me some justice. If I'm gonna play any game at this point, I'm gonna play with a controller, because like mouse and keyboard is just not my friend at the moment. So and then Fortnite Chapter 2, it is definitely slightly different. It's definitely the biggest updated version of Fortnite I've played, because they like changed the map and everything as well. But you know what? It's still Fortnite, so it's still fun. So as long as you don't like try hard in it, and you know, you just play with your friends or whatever, it's still a good old fun time.
Yeah, it's a good time. Like again, just whatever. I think I gave my piece on competitive like battle royales before, but yeah, Fortnite is just fun casually. It's a fun game.
Yeah.
So.
I think we played a couple of games of the arena, I think, right?
Yeah, the 50 versus 50 thing. Oh no, the ranked one.
Yeah, the ranked stuff. Like, that shit was crazy. I was like, this guy's just building shit on me. Like, I don't want to do this. Like, stop.
Yeah, people like build a whole like house in 2 seconds. I'm like, I'm good. So yeah.
But there's that. And now we got Riot Games 10th anniversary celebration, aka the perfect timing for them to release this, since Blizzard just shot themselves in the foot.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna start with the League stuff, and then you can talk about the mobile stuff after. We're just gonna switch off and on and like give our thoughts before we move on to the next one. So they did release some 2020 preseason gameplay changes. They're gonna have the dragons like change the map in certain ways. I think it's like the 3rd dragon, where when that spawns, it'll change Summoner's Rift itself. So it's gonna like, so for example, fire dragon, it's gonna like open up some of the walls, and then ocean dragon is gonna create more bushes on certain parts of the map, and then that's pretty much it. They're also changing the way the actual dragon buffs work as well. And then Elder Dragon, they're making it so Elder Dragon is like an execute. So like when you get Elder, you can actually like end the goddamn game, because like that was a problem before, where like competitive teams would like get the first Elder, and like since the Elder buff would only last for so long, they would pretty much just use it as a way for like the enemy team, like, yo, if you're gonna fight us, we have this fucking buff, so like we're gonna kill you, or like possibly kill you. So like both teams were scared to fight each other pretty much. But now the way it works is that once enemies hit a certain point, the Elder Dragon will like pretty much execute them, like kill them instantly. And you could see the video as to how it works. It's pretty interesting. And then they're also adding on alcoves in the side lanes and top and bot, along with making it slightly different, and also adding more bushes by like blue buff and whatnot. Very interesting. I'm glad they're doing actual changes this season instead of just like sitting on their ass like they did during last year's preseason. Because last year's preseason they were like, all right, we're gonna add ranked dedicated roles. Like each role has their own dedicated ranked, and then it was like when they rolled it out, they obviously didn't fucking test it. So, and then they're making some changes mainly to support. Is what I'm interested in. They did talk about jungle and top and all this other stuff, but mainly I'm looking at the support stuff. So they're changing the way the support items work. They're actually making it so they're taking coin out, but they're also changing the way Targons and Spell Thief work. Very interesting. From what I've seen from like support players that have tried it, I think on like PvE and stuff, they're like, yeah, it's a little better, but like there's obviously still problems with it because once you upgrade it to the tier 3, you don't get any more gold generation, which is like a problem. So I'm not exactly sure how that'll play out, because like I kind of still want to generate gold the later the game goes on. I don't want to be a poor boy, Yeah,
you don't want to be a poor, yeah.
But they're also changing lethality items. They're taking out Spear of Sojin. So pretty much this item made bruiser top laners fucking broken.
No.
So you know how Renekton is like pretty bad late game?
Yeah.
This item made him so he was actually pretty good late game. So you can just look the item up if you want, but it's just it reduces the cooldown of your abilities or something like that on hit. So it is very interesting. After casting your ult, your next basic attack on hit within 10 seconds grants Awakening Dragon for 6 seconds, and that gives you 50% bonus attack speed and basic attacks. Refund 20% of your remaining basic ability. So pretty much if this was on Renekton and he ults and then he just keeps autoing, he just gets his abilities back faster, and that's that's just not good. So they're just taking that out. It also wasn't just Renekton, like Jax, Fiora, all of these like bruiser top laners, really used it well. And then they're changing up the keystones and this and that. But pretty much the preseason starts on patch 9.23. I think they just wrote out patch 9.21. So we're still a long ways away. And then they also dropped a Sana champion trailer.
Yeah,
she is going to be yeah. She is out of the lantern. That is very cool that they're actually making her into a champion. The cinematic itself was pretty cool to watch as well. And they're making her a support marksman. So I wonder how that's going to work. So hopefully she's not completely shit, but I hope she's not busted either. So that's pretty much it.
Always got to worry about that.
Yep.
All right, so now we got some of their other announcements. So here's like 2 mobile things. I guess... whatever. So TFT is coming to mobile. So I think they've been saying that for a while now, right? Like that was going to come to mobile.
Yeah, they were like, yeah, we should probably put this on mobile because like a lot of people were like asking for it.
Yeah, and it's a good fit. Having an auto chess game on mobile, it just seems like a perfect fit, right? There's not much moving. You just place units all down on the board, and it just seems like a perfect mobile game. And Valve already has Underlords on mobile, so. I'm pretty sure Riot wants to like consume that audience as well on mobile. So, TFT, I really like TFT. It's one of my more favorite things Riot has done lately, before we get into the other news. But, I think TFT would be a great fit on mobile, and I'll probably try it out. So, yeah, that's good news. But here's more crazy news. Or this is where we get crazy, actually. So, League of Legends Wild Rift is going to be like a mobile plus console version. So, it's going to be like this version of League of Legends is going to be a whole separate version. Like it's different from the PC version, right? So it's not going to have all the champions just yet, I don't believe. And it's built for like mobile and console like players in mind. So I think they changed somehow they changed how some abilities work. Like I think in the trailer, like you could control Ashe's arrow or something. Like it did some weird crap. Like her ult. Like there's some weird stuff going on, but basically they're retooling League of Legends to work on mobile and consoles. I don't know how well it's going to do on consoles. Maybe if it's on Switch it might do pretty well, which I don't really see why it wouldn't be on Switch. But I think this thing might really blow off on mobile. Even though, like, again, it has the whole virtual joystick thing, which, like, I really hate. And mostly with a game like League, where, you know, you need, like, dodge skill shots and all that stuff, like, I just don't really want to deal with that. But I can see it being really big in, like, more Asian territories, you know? So,
yeah, definitely.
And it kind of just looked a little nicer. Like, when you preview a skin, like, gives you a whole thing. Like, oh, that looks cool. So, yeah, hopefully they, like, I also don't know how they're going to do, like, account, like, I don't know if you gotta make a whole new account or if you're gonna get like some of your skins and champions into this if you like, you know, use your Riot.
I think it's a completely separate game.
Yeah.
Because they built the game from the ground up for console and PC, which is good because, you know, that would be very funny if like someone was like, ah shit, my fucking jungler's on mobile, GG. You know?
Yeah, no, I
like,
guess
that would definitely be really bad, but they just built the game from the ground up. They retooled League of Legends, the Summoner's Rift in general, to fit on console and mobile. So this is definitely going to do very well in Asian territories, I would imagine. But, you know, for us in the West, I'm not sure how well this is going to do. Probably good for like people to get into League.
Yeah.
But for them to stay, that's going to be another question. And then, yeah, like this is obviously good to like get the game out to more people, because I'm pretty sure Riot wanted to have League out on console for a while now, but they were just waiting for, you know, the right time to actually do it. You know, since like Smite was on both console and PC, they were like, we could probably do that, but how do we want to do it, you know?
No, I get you. I think it could work for console. Like, League doesn't have that many buttons. Like, yeah, your active items or whatever, like that could get a little crazy if you have a lot, but usually it's not a lot. Like, I mean, when I was playing, you only had like maybe one or two. It's not like Dota where you have like every single item is an active. No. You know, in League you have like your 4 abilities, you walk and crap, and like that's it. So I can see it fitting pretty perfectly on console and again on mobile as well. But you know, that's just if you want to deal with you know, it not being actual League is like a whole separate thing. So
just treating it as like a much more casual version of League, I guess.
Yeah. So I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see how that turns out. And we got another cool thing that's also coming out pretty soon. Legends of Runeterra, which is their card game, of course, because, you know, we all need card games. But this is doing some cool things where, you know, obviously it's going to be free to play. And then they're not selling packs. So, you know how Hearthstone or like basically any, like, you know, trading card game where you have to buy packs and hope you get what you want. Well, apparently in this game, you can just buy individual cards with like in-game money or real money, of course. And there's going to be weekly unlocks as well. So this is really great because I really liked Hearthstone. Like for a while, I played Hearthstone for at least like 2 years. But then there was just too many cards. And then they started rotating like expansions away. So like, you know, the first expansion, you know, I had most of the cards in that one. And then it like rotated out because, you know, it was old and like the meta, you know, they got to change the meta and stuff. So, you know, that rotated away and I couldn't use any of those cards anymore. So I had to buy more cards and more cards. And just to get like one meta deck could cost you like $100 if you're unlucky. And the dust system in Hearthstone is pretty not generous. Like it's pretty like harsh. Like, you know, they want you to buy packs basically, like any card game basically. So it's really cool that Runeterra is gonna be like, hey, you just buy the card. So I'm like, oh, thank you. So, you know, you got to focus on like the actual competitive play. You know, if you want to say card games are, I guess they are, but there's a lot of RNG, at least in Hearthstone anyway. But yeah, it looks really cool. I really like the way Riot's doing this business model. Yeah, you seriously don't know how amazing it is just to buy individual cards. That's amazing, dude. Like, it's really cool.
Definitely. One thing that I really hated about Hearthstone was the fact that like people were always complaining about like buying packs and like, you know, they always had to like focus on like, all right, let's hope I get the card here, you know. And it was never about like the actual aspect of, you know, playing the game and like trying to like deck build and this and that, like trying new things, because trying new things out in Hearthstone was definitely like not rewarding at all, because like if it ends up not working, it's like, ah, shit. But in this game, they really focused on like, yo, you can do whatever you want as long as, you know, you're able to, you know, buy the cards you want and do what you want. And that is very, very cool. And they did do some play testing when I think it was like this past weekend or something like that with like Skara and Disguised Toes, where like if you were in their stream and you had your Riot account linked, you were able to get a code. And And, you know, like, this is probably going to do very well for them just because card games back then when like Hearthstone came out and everything like that, like they were like very popular.
Yeah.
But now it's like, you know, this new one just pops up and like no one's really making them anymore. So hopefully this will bring new people into the, you know, card deck building, you know, sort of genre, and hopefully this will do well. I would imagine it will do well because a lot of people were watching Scar and Disguised Toast to see exactly how this game plays out and things like that. But definitely the business model had me very interested. So when they were like, yo, you don't have to buy packs, I was like, that is very good.
Yeah, it seems like Riot is just like taking advantage of like everyone's failures right now. Like, you know, with TFT and Runeterra, like they seem to really like eating Valve up right now with, you know, Artifact failing super hard, and Underlords is doing all right, but TFT is just way ahead of it, like in every way. And then later, you know, we're gonna talk about some of the other games. It seems like they also want to consume that Blizzard market too, with again Runeterra, you have Hearthstone, and again some of the other games we're going to talk about like later. But yeah, it seems like Riot really wants to make its way into a really big like PC presence now. You know, wants to really expand their like borders, which is nice because I think a lot of people really like the League IP, and it's a very strong IP. And as you can see here, like just see how many more people are playing TFT other than Underlords. Like no one really cares about the Dota characters that much. Like I don't. Like I played Dota for like 40 hours, and I don't care a crap about any of the Dota characters. Like I like League characters though. So yeah, that was just a little aside I just wanted to say. I guess you could talk about the next thing since, you know, this is a little beyond me.
This thing's just like a little thing that they threw in there. Little esports manager.
Yeah.
So this is very interesting. First, I'm going to start with the LPL League, which is the China League, to start off with this. But, I mean, you know, this is definitely for a very unique and small crowd of people. I'm not interested in it personally. Despite me liking League of Legends esports, I'm not like, all right, I want to manage a team and do this and do that. Like, I wonder how the game is going to play out first, because I've never played a managing, you know, game like this before, or like a simulator game in general.
Right.
So I wonder how Riot's going to do it, especially since they're using like real players and stuff like that. So yeah, because I'm just waiting for the, you know, LCS fantasy thing to go back up.
Right.
Because they didn't do it at all this year. But
oh, well, really?
Yeah, they didn't do it at all because they were like, we're trying to fix it, but like they didn't. So I'm not sure what they're doing with it. Hopefully it comes back next season. But LoL Esports Manager, very interesting.
All right. So yeah, now we got some really interesting stuff. So we got Project. So these are like, they seem like very early in development.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got Project A, which is going to be a first-person character-based tactical shooter. So think Overwatch, like cross CS:GO. That's basically what they've been saying. And this could either be pretty good or pretty terrible because you know, these are two very conflicting audiences. Yes, like they're both first-person shooters, but I'm pretty sure CS:GO players don't want to deal with all the crazy abilities and ultimates and all that from Overwatch. And I'm pretty sure Overwatch players don't want to deal with the whole tenseful, like stressful, like gameplay of a real tactical shooter like CS:GO. Like it's two very conflicting like gameplay styles that I wonder how they're gonna make that work. You know, because it very much looks like Overwatch, but in like a CS:GO map from the gameplay they did show. So it's just gonna be interesting how they like balance that out and how they make people want to play that. Like, you know, I'm more inclined to play something like Overwatch, even though I think Overwatch was a little too crazy with the abilities, and you could get a little angry just because like, oh, I died from someone pressing Q. That's fun. I still think TF2 kind of did it the best, where it felt like a more casual like experience, but it was still like enough technical skill to be rewarding without it being like, hey, I pressed an ability and you're dead. And CS:GO is just too much for me. Like I just can't play that game. It's too hardcore for me. So I just wonder how they're gonna make that work, you know?
Yeah, definitely. When I first saw Project A, it was through a Nate Shot tweet, and I was like, "This shit isn't real, right?" I was like, "What the fuck?" Like, this shit looks like CS:GO, but like, it's not because they have like abilities and stuff. So, like you said, I pretty much agree with everything you said. It's two conflicting gameplay styles colliding together, and I wonder how Riot Games is gonna make that work. Because I don't think they're using the League IP for this one anyways.
No, they're not.
So,
the zone original thing.
It is going to be very interesting on to how that plays out and how well this game will do. I'm not sure if it's going to be free to play or what, but whatever they do with Project A, I hope it does well, because it looks like it's not going to have any league characters at all, which I think will benefit it, because it is trying to be like CSGO, but like Overwatch at the same time, sort of thing, you know?
Yeah.
And then we have Project L, which is, they are 100% using league characters for this, because why wouldn't you? It's going to be a fighting game. And it looked very interesting. That's all I can really say. They didn't really show much of it, so.
Yeah, I mean, we knew they were making a fighting game for a while, though, right? Like, didn't they buy, like, another, like, studio a while ago and was like, hey, we're, like, there was talks about them making a fighting game. Like, I don't know. This was pretty much known for a while that they were making a fighting game. But again, like you said, like, having a fighting game with league characters is probably going to do extremely well. Like, they didn't really have gameplay. Like, they just show Ari fighting, like, Darius, I think. And if that is, like, what they're at, like, the vision, what it actually looks like, then, yeah, it looks pretty good. You know, it's just league characters fighting each other in, like, a 2D space, like a fighting game. They didn't really comment on any, like, what mechanics are going to use. Again, it looks like it's going to be based on, like, Street Fighter, I guess, like, more traditional, like, 2D fighters. So, yeah, I could see this game having a big future, though, if it actually does take off, because, Riot is pretty supportive with the whole esports thing, as you could tell with League of Legends.
So, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, a lot of, like, fighting game players, especially within the Smash community, because Smash doesn't make a lot of money. Yeah. But if they like want to make money and they like jump on this Project L game like instantly and get very, very good at it, like they could potentially compete in small tournaments and eventually maybe in a league, depending on how big this game gets, obviously, because Riot has never done this before. They've only had League of Legends throughout this entire time, throughout their 10 years. So we're just going to have to wait and see exactly how well Project L does, but I wouldn't be surprised if it does do really well, because I think they know what makes a fighting game tick,
Yeah, I feel like they could do a good fighting game, just because, the blood of Riot is very, like, competitive based, so, like, I feel like they could, like, they probably have some good people on there that could, determine what makes a good fighting game. So yeah, now we got something completely different from Riot, Project F, which is gonna be like a sort of dungeon crawling game. Like, I don't know if it's gonna be exactly Diablo, like, because they didn't really show much, but it's an isometric RPG. Again, this is like the thing I'm the most excited about, because it's just what I like. Most of the other things, they had a theme to it. A multiplayer, competitive base, a fighting game, an FPS, a card game. This is like the only time that they're really doing like a single player. Well, it's gonna be a co-op game probably, but an RPG that you could really explore the League world and stuff, or Runeterra and stuff. And I think that's super cool, because I think the League stuff has some really neat things in it, and I always like it would be cool to like explore the different areas and things like that. It would be cool if they made like an MMO, but I know that would never happen, but that would be cool. But yeah, this is the second best thing. Like, if it is a Diablo game, that's awesome, because I could go for another Diablo game, since Blizzard isn't really gonna do that, I don't think. And
y'all don't got phones?
Exactly. But if it's also just like a co-op dungeon crawling game where you can like explore the different worlds of Runeterra and things like that, I think that's also pretty neat. But yeah, again, not much is shown. They showed some gameplay, and from what it looks like, it looks really good. Like, the graphics look really nice. Like, they showed like Blitzcrank, some other champions, like I can't remember, but like Blitzcrank looked really nice. He was super shiny. So yeah, I'm very excited for that. It seems still very, very early in development, but yeah, I have my eye on that one. That really like caught my eye. So yeah,
definitely same here, because it looked like a beat 'em up, which is like what dungeon crawlers are. You're just like exploring and like just beating the shit out of things. And the way Mark Merrill described it was like, you'll explore Runeterra with your friends, which I was like, that sounds like fun.
Yeah, sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah.
Hopefully, whenever they do decide to drop that game, hopefully it's within the next 2 years. That would be good. But yeah, if it is a straight up Diablo clone, but with just the League of Legends universe, that would be very cool, because people love these characters, and it is, like you said, a very strong IP. So
yeah.
Then the last thing they announced was very quick. It was a League of Legends animated series, Arcane. That just looked interesting and kind of out of nowhere. I don't think anyone really described them to, or anyone expected them, I should say, describe them. No one really expected Riot to make like a animated series based on League of Legends,
Yeah, was it on Jinx and Vi or something like that, I think?
Yeah, it's on that sort of area of the League of Legends world. I'm not entirely sure. I was kind of just like, oh, that looks cool. All right,
it came out of nowhere. I'm like, oh, okay, like, that's cool. Again, I just really like how Riot is like it's just expanding, because they've been with League for like 10 years. Like, I like League, but I kind of got over the whole MOBA thing like a few years ago. Like, it's not like I have anything against League or anything like that, because I played it for like a really long time. Well, like 3 years I think I played it, but I had a good time with it. But I was happy for them. Like, yeah, they could do something else. And then TFT came out. I'm like, yeah, this is the start of like something great, because I like TFT and I like but just do more stuff. So I'm happy they're finally listening, and they're finally ready to reveal like, hey, these are our plans for other games. And yeah, I'm excited. So yeah,
this honestly couldn't have been a worse time for Blizzard to mess up. But
yeah
Riot finally putting or announcing a lot of new games is very cool, especially the Legends of Runeterra and Project F, the dungeon crawler game. Because the way that they looked at it was like, yo, we want to make a card game, but we want to make sure that the player experience is as best as possible.
Yes.
So they took away packs and all that stuff, and I was like, all right, this sounds very interesting, and I'm probably going to play it now, just because of that entire business model, is the fact that they don't want to screw people over by buying packs, because they know how frustrating that can be. So they were like, all right, you could just buy the cards individually and build a deck that you want to build, instead of like, all right, I need to get this card in this one pack. So thankfully, we will not see Legends of Runeterra pack opening videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then the dungeon crawler game, it's just something that I'm interested in, because I like beat 'em up games, but I've never played a dungeon crawler myself, actually. But if it has League of Legends characters in it and it's within the League of Legends world, I'm all for it. But yeah, overall, this event was very good, just because they tackled everything I think they have in the works at the moment. Obviously, I don't know that 100% sure, but it seems like this is pretty much everything they have working on at the moment.
Yeah, and like I said, it really does seem like Riot wants to like be on top of like the PC gaming scene now, like, because the throne is kind of open. Like, Valve doesn't really make stuff anymore. Blizzard's kind of shot itself in the foot a lot. So I think it's like Riot is like trying to really gun for that, and if these games could be really good, then I have no problem with that. So
yeah, as long as they're good games, that's all I'm
as long as they're
for.
Good. Yeah,
and hopefully this will breed more competition. Because, Riot Games is now like, hey, we can make a card game too. So
yeah, I mean, I just want Valve to like do something again. God damn it.
All right. So is there anything else you would like to add, good sir?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. So thank you guys for listening to the Travis and Damian podcast once again. And we will see you guys 2 weeks from now with another episode.
Later.